What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Tuesday Track Talk with your Three Stones Pick Crew, episode number 73 this week. I'm your tire changer, Cam,
I'm your Jack Man, Kel.
And I'm your gas man, Cam.
and we are coming off the heels of NASCAR at COTA this weekend. We also had the Cars Tour at New River All American Raceway
Yep.
this past weekend. So little bit of race going on, but obviously we're going to be talking a lot more about NASCAR at COTA this weekend. I'll also be kind of keeping an eye on the World Outlaws here as they are currently running as we record. But what's been going on, fellas, since we last reconvened with each other?
Not much. Enjoying a little warm. Well, warmish. It's warmer. Starting to look at the forecast. We're starting to see the 50s become a little bit more frequent. So, it's that afternoon you come home and you can slide the patio door open for a little bit and it not
Did
be
you,
cold.
I'm just going to fact check you. Did you check the forecast this week or no?
Yeah, why?
I think I saw Tuesday into Wednesday down in the Madison area, getting 1 to 2 inches of snow. A little bit further north is 2 to 4, and then go a little bit further north, and it's, I think, 4 to 6.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the temperature though, tomorrow's 54, Tuesday's 50. I mean, it'll snow, but yeah. So, I mean, we're going to get some of that. We're just into the first week of March, so we know it's going to snow at some point, but temperatures are trending in the right direction to eliminate that very quickly.
And one thing this is where we'll lose the PG right away. No, actually, we'll keep it. It totally sucks, but I'm looking forward to it. Is next weekend is the old spring chicken. We're springing forward. Um,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it, takes a while for the body to adjust, but I am looking forward to it being lighter, longer, and just the days starting to feel longer. So pumped for that. And then the only other concern I got is, as you said, 73. Usually we tie the episode to, a race car driver or something else, but I have a little bit of a concern here when we get to triple digits.
Uh yeah.
We can keep rolling with the triple digits, but episode 99 for shout out Carl Edwards. Once we get to 100, there's no more.
I'd say 73 here I could throw in as for my local television when I was a kid. 73 was the channel number for the old Speed channel.
Yep.
So I bought tickets for the St. Louis race this weekend for the
Nice.
NASCAR St. Louis race. So I will officially be down there that weekend, and I'm super excited.
Nice.
So
Cool.
add that to my list of tickets to buy and races to go to. So, but
That'd be fun.
you want to talk about some racing?
Yep.
All right. Well, let's cover some news here real quick. Kellen, I'll let you take this first one.
Yeah, so looking at a little bit of news here. So kind of following off of, Cletus McFarland running the ARCA race at Daytona. His Freedom 500 is an event he runs Crown Vics on the circle track at the Freedom Factory. He has Corey LaJoy, Greg Biffle, and Brendan Butterbean Queen are going to be running that race. So his YouTube video that just recent one came out, they listed the driver list. You have the likes of Brian Deegan, Travis Pastrana. So he's drawing a hell of a crowd, but some NASCAR ties to that event as well. So kind of cool to see those guys jumping in on the Crown Vic racing at the Freedom Factory.
Yeah. The only other one that we got here on our list is Justin Grant will be running with CB Industries for a full-time USAC midget schedule. He'll also have NOS Energy as the sponsor on there, and he'll possibly chase in a USAC Triple Crown, which would include the Sprint Cars and the Silver Crown as well.
Yep.
So, otherwise, that's all we got for the time being.
Yep.
Obviously, news is slowing down as the racing starts picking up.
Yeah, for sure.
So, let's talk about some COTA. Obviously, we were just coming off of the heels of that race, just wrapped up about an hour ago.
Yep.
Um, I guess I'll just start off with just overall. I think it was a pretty decent race. I think between the shorter configuration, the softer tire, I think guys just happy to get off a super speedway racing.
Yep.
I think we had a pretty decent race and a good amount of comers and goers too.
Yeah, I felt like the ability to pass and the ability to flip strategy, when you look at somebody like McDowell, stayed out late to try to get track position, which he kind of got swallowed up a little bit, but still when you look at the strategy side of things, I think where he ended up, that's still a net positive for him from where he was. So looking at fuel mileage, talk about fuel, but looking at the tire fall off, I think that bigger component of it kind of gave guys flexibility to flip strategy a little bit, run a little long, have fresher tires later in the run to try to make stage points or stay out long to get stage points. So I think that was cool to see.
Obviously, we saw that play out at the end of that race with Bell running down Bush with a little bit fresher tires. Didn't necessarily work out for SVG, who was on point to be able to pull that off. Um,
Yep.
but speaking of Bush, hell of a run for him. This was kind of a nice confidence booster, I guess you would say, for him.
Yeah, and I feel like after last year not getting a win, and I felt like the RCR just struggles, you could call it. Um, he's putting together some strong performances to start the year. I mean, and you could argue at Daytona, um, he had himself in a spot to a good position there towards the end until the old Stenhouse and Logano debacle. Um, and then today, I mean, this is what you're looking for from a Kyle Busch, just across the board, solid all weekend, solid all day. Um, and so, yeah, that's huge for RCR in that camp. Um, and so solid start across the board again to a super speedway, now a road course. And now if he can start tying some of these weekends together on when we start settling in here into the mile and a halves, old KY might be back. So um, big weekend, solid across the board for him, and workman like, but that was a classic Kyle Busch weekend there.
Yeah, I mean, good to finally see him put together a whole race in terms of just being up front, running up front, and putting together a finish. There's been races where he's run up front and he just hasn't been able to finish or gets caught in a wreck and you have nothing to show for it. Where finally feel like today he put together the whole day per se, in terms of more of a vintage Kyle Busch type performance.
And that's 2 years in a row because that last year he had a solid run going too until I'm pretty sure was it Seabell punted him.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
so. Because then
so
them two kind of confronted each other after the fact.
yeah, so the old savvy veteran, um, showing he's not bad going left and right. So no, like you said, good for him across the board. Like you said, tie it all together, practice qualifying, and then finish wise. Good weekend for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Started off a little rough though. We didn't even make it past the first corner, and we were already spinning cars and dive bombing in, and not
Well,
really being smart. If I'm going to be honest.
yeah, I feel like the last couple episodes, the first two NASCAR races of the year that we've covered, I feel like the resounding word has been patience.
Yep.
We sailed her off into one, and there was none of it to be found. Apparently, I don't know. I get it, track position's hard to come by, but we didn't even get up to speed, and we had cars turned around.
Yeah.
And we were chatting briefly on it before, but I got two real big issues with the old Chastained on lap one. And the first is the move on lap one, corner one.
Yeah,
What are we doing? Why are we dive bombing on lap one?
Yep.
And of course, it's everybody is bumper to bumper. it's all right if you want to throw a dive bomb in there and it's the field's a little bit spread out. You got two cars that are side by side. Still don't like it early in the race, but that is just uh, if there's a award for dumbest move of the week, right there. And then two, the next thing that we've got is Jackman said post race that Chastain declined to comment. And I got to take issue with that too, because if you're going to give it, you better be able to take it. And he was first in line in the host of our line last weekend to give it to him. And then he wants to do a move like this and chicken shit out. I I don't like it at all, actually. So, um,
Well, that's Hocevar's quote unquote driver coach. Somebody that's
Yep.
been helping him out a little bit navigating some of these conversations. Now, going back to the Hocevar thing a little bit, I'll come back to Chastain here in a second, but the Hocevar thing, talking a little bit about him, and the commentators actually made a fairly rational agreement with him is he's got to have big shoulders to carry what he's been doing. If you're going to race like that, just own up to it and carry it and deal with it how you deal with it. But I think Chastain's kind of in that same boat, and I understand we didn't know what track position was going to be like or the ability to pass, but he wrecked Chase Elliott's day before Elliott ever got the car wound up.
Yep.
Like Chase Elliott salvaged the day, and good for him for doing so. But like when you're changing linkages that early in the race, oh my God, you're just looking at this going, we're 2 laps in, and this is how this is going already today.
Yep.
and
So
I think anybody that heard the 9 team radio about what was going to happen, the retaliation when he got back to him, um, I'm 100% for it and behind it. So, um,
yep.
yeah, I mean, Elliot was pretty calm, to be honest with you. If that was me, I would have lost it. Yeah, to say the least. But he was relatively, his comment of, just confirm that I wasn't in the wrong. And when I get to him, I'll handle the business. And so it's just like, why? On lap one, corner one, why? For what?
Yep. Yep. No, I 100% agree. It's just why so early?
Yeah.
So,
Insane.
yeah. Other incidents, we had Denny Hamlin get into Austin Dillon, and Austin Dillon ended up in the kitty litter. Um, he ended up out
What?
after that, and I don't know what broke. I never saw if something broke on that.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah.
So, and
His
then we
engine.
had,
Did you see him revving that thing up in the rocks?
oh yeah,
And that thing pegged.
Beating the piss out of it.
and then
Thought he
Suarez and
thought he was on the
Zilich,
dyno.
yeah,
Yeah, Suarez and Zilich, Suarez lost it on his own. He caught that driveway just wrong with the air pressures down a little bit, and that car hit a little harder and kind of kicked it out to the side. And they listened to Zilich's radio. They said you did nothing wrong, you did everything right all day. Like it just,
and he was coming through the field after his early.
yeah, he was up from like 30th to one point. He got to like P14 or so.
Yep.
That's the old Cletus McFarland. I zagged when I should have zigged.
Yep.
What left and right and picked away, but with the smoke there was hard to see. So that was a very tough incident for the Trackhouse organization collectively.
I'll say that is the frustrating part about our sport is that you can do everything right the entire day, and then somebody
Yep.
else's business can ruin your entire day.
Yep.
And for an 18-year-old step in there and wheel that car the way he was, again, doing everything right, driving through the field, to get caught up in the calamity of your own teammate sucks.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Hey, before we'll finish on this thought.
I was gonna
No,
say
yeah.
he handled his post race interview well.
Yep.
He had a good weekend as well. For being I don't want to say an 18-year-old kid, but he's still very young in the sport. To be put in that spot, he could have very easily been very frustrated. And we had a car that could be in the top 10, and we had speed, and he could have been very frustrated, but he just said, "No, there's nothing we can do. I'm excited. We had speed. I want to do it again. I'm looking forward to the next one." So,
Yep.
kind of the prowess and the maturity there, being able to handle the interview the way he did was, I think, very good and worth noting.
And I was gonna say, you talk about guys kind of owning up to what they did. Zilich obviously won the Xfinity race on Saturday, but he owned up to I was definitely way rougher on some guys than I should have been.
Yep.
And he's like, I was sending out apologies after the race and trying to talk with some guys, and he's like, I got a lot to learn in these stock cars yet,
Yep.
but I hope I can keep figuring it out.
Yep.
And I think, kudos to him because I think he sees the writing on the wall. He's got a lot of racing left behind him or in front of him. And so we're going to see him far more frequently in the NASCAR, either series, Xfinity, Cup. And so he's doing the right thing because
Yep.
he's going to be racing around a lot of these guys a lot more in the coming years. So,
Yep.
yeah. One thing I was going to chime in too is not the incidents, but lap 1, 2, old teammates calamity. Ty Gibbs going airborne on his teammate, Denny Hamlin.
Oh,
Yeah. Yep.
Dude's
Yeah,
on
Ty
the run.
Gibbs, not the day they were hoping for by any means. Denny Hamlin, obviously a frustrating day as well on lap 1 when you're cutting the fender off the race car.
yeah.
So, eesh.
Talk about track position being hard, and you got to hit everything right. Well, that includes on pit road, and well, that bit Kyle Larson did
Yeah, that's the first one we've seen I guess probably the first
this
one this
year.
season that's come off, but yeah, well there'll be a particular team member that will be finding himself on a
The
vacation.
the tire changer and the jackman will be on vacation for the next 4 weeks.
Yep. Something doesn't feel right. Yeah, the right front just came off.
I think I got a flat. Nope, the wheel just came off.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So unfortunate for him. That's because that pit stop was kind of a little bit of a mess. We were talking about that before too. Is they were monkeying around with that left rear, and they waited and waited and waited, and they were monkeying around, and he went out, and they said when they kind of panned to him, and they said he's got a loose wheel. I'm like, oh, it must have been that left rear they were monkeying with. Oh no, it was the right front.
Yep.
So complete chaos in that pit stop ensued. So
Yeah.
it was quite wild. But
So, um, but no, overall we had the new track layout as well. I heard a lot of it gave a short track feel to a road course type of thing where there weren't a lot of instances to take a break or kind of settle in a little bit. Uh, you were close quarters with everybody. Laps were clicking off pretty quick. Like it was, I felt like this new layout was a lot better than the old one.
yeah, I would agree. I think looking at it, there were opportunities to pass. There were opportunities to make passing spots if you wanted to kind of use the bumper. Um, but I just felt like the tempo of the race was higher from start to finish.
Yep.
I just felt like the action was up all the time where it was if you weren't on somebody, you were getting somebody was up on you trying to make a move. So um yeah, I think looking at it, I think I like the new layout.
Yep.
I enjoyed the new layout today.
I did
So
too. One thing I do gotta take issue with. Why did we remove those 400-pound cinder blocks?
because it'd be like the turtles at Charlotte where they just absolutely destroy the car. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
We had the 400-pound cinder blocks up in practice.
The classic play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Bingo. You wanna try to cut the corner? Here.
I will say though that okay, they have the S's and they had the was it termed 13, 15 that had the runoff area.
Yeah, it was
The guy
13 because
did
that's where you had to serve your stop and goes
that. Yeah, that was where you
if
served
you
stop goal. I think that's a lot better than doing a drive through.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think putting them in that spot in making them do a stop and go, I think is better than just absolutely crushing their day.
Honestly, it's consistency too. You know, at Charlotte, if the guys miss the bus stop, they do a stop and go at the bus stop.
Yep.
It's the same idea. You're just keeping the consistency, and at least that way, it's like, all right, stop and go. Here's my spot. Now,
Yep.
give it some guys were maybe pushing the issue as far as the stop part of it goes.
Denny Hamlin.
I thought Bubba was a little guilty too,
I was
but
gonna say Bubba. They're like, oh, Bubba's doing his stop and go. I'm like, stop and go, buddy. Just was rolling
it was a slow and go type of thing.
for real.
Yep.
Where after that, I think it's a drive-through penalty then. But
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, to compound it, you get a drive through from there.
yeah, so
No,
uh
I like the consistency of that. Talking about what you said with Charlotte, like, guys just know what to expect. It's not a gambling game going in every week going, am I gonna have to do a drive through? Like when they go to Charlotte, they just
yep.
uniformity, I think, looks really good and from a driver standpoint is very beneficial to just keep it consistent to know what to expect.
And especially with us the past 2 weeks talking about officiating and having that consistency. I think that was a big plus.
Absolutely.
And even then, I think only what 3 guys got busted. Three,
Yeah, it
four
was
guys got busted.
Denny, Bubba,
Bowman.
Bowman got one.
I thought one more got one.
Yeah, I think there might have been a fourth,
Either
but
way, but again, nonetheless, there weren't that many guys.
yeah,
So I think they are learning as well as far as what the boundaries are and sticking to them.
yeah, absolutely.
So, uh overall, I thought it was a good race. I'll kind of pan it to you guys too, as far as what you thought of the race, or anything else that kind of is on your minds as we continue on in the racing season. I know that's one of our topics here. Is you know, COTA is a third race after 2 super speedways. Schedule's come up before. Like, what's on your guys' mind?
I think the tire compound was a good addition to this race.
Yep.
I think it kept the tempo up of the race on top of the shorter field, the short course, but it also gave the opportunity for guys to flip strategy on tires to run long and have fresher late or short pit, run long and try to get track position. Where if you didn't nail that pit stop, that live pit stop, um, that could cost you track position or it could gain you track position. We saw a couple guys leapfrog a handful of spots. So I think looking at it, it added a new strategy to it where it wasn't just, oh, when you bolt them on, you got what you got, and it's all about the
Yep.
setup part of it. I think having that flexibility to do so kind of gave guys a chance to test it out. And like we said, McDowell was one that he jumped up there early to do that. And he still had a net positive, but obviously got swallowed up by guys that had fresh tires. So, yeah, I think that combination that they brought, I wouldn't be afraid to bring that whole package back next year and go, all right, let's run it back.
And my thought too with it is that it makes guys think about tire conservation. You can't beat the absolute hell out of them. You saw it in the Xfinity race where guys were getting blisters on their tires. I mean, Carson Quaffle blew a tire because he flat spotted it too much.
Yep. Yeah, and that becomes a thing of, Kyle Busch was up front and he was kind of fading a little bit. Was he saving or was he just burned up?
Yeah.
So
Overall, I would say that we do a fair share of not complaining, but in our expertise telling NASCAR what they should do to make racing better. But we started this year complaining about what are we doing with these Boeing 737s. But I will say this is one move across the board, tire compound and track layout that NASCAR got right
Yep.
yep.
I
across the
think
board.
and
Great
softer
moves.
tires as a whole. Just you saw it at Bristol. Given those were
Favorite race of the last year.
That was awesome.
Dude, that
Yeah,
was
no.
real live NASCAR heat. You're gonna
Yep.
pit with 10 laps to go to get fresh tires so you can zoom around everybody. Anyways, but no, across the board, I feel like this is the first, I don't want to say the first time in a long time, but this is where everybody I feel like can sit back and agree and say across the board, both changes or both, whatever you want to call it, home runs.
yep.
We're not striking out here. So yeah, I actually enjoyed this race. Um I threw in, how do I feel about COTA? You know, this ties into fantasy too. How do I feel about COTA
Mhm.
um race 3? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, do I like it? I don't know. But all I can say is, all right, let's just get this shit out of the way, and then we're gonna get to some real racing. Let's get the 2 super speedways out of the way right off the bat early in the year. Let's get this road course out of the way. And now, going forward, now we're gonna start settling into season. So yeah, I don't know. I will say I'm okay with Dakota. I'm okay with Dakota at 3. For being a road course, I generally am not. I don't wake up on Sunday morning of a road course race and say, "Gee, I can't wait to watch the race." But I thoroughly enjoyed this race. So, um, yeah, I thought it was a good race all around. So, what do you guys give the race grade out of scale 1 to 10?
8-6.
I'm trying to remember what I gave Atlanta last weekend.
Yeah, we should maybe
Seven.
keep track of that.
You did like a 7-1. You were 7-0 or a 7-1.
Then I feel like I got to be a flat 8.
Yeah, I'm like an 8-6.
Flat 8.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little. I don't know. I feel like pretty solid. Um, the first number that came to mind was like 7.7. So
Uh,
Yep.
I saw 2 things about Coda. Um, One, this was the most number of lead changes in a road course race since Riverside, however many years ago. Riverside is old.
Yep.
Uh, and then this is also the first driver to go back to back in races since Chris Buescher in 2023, which ended the longest run without a back to back winner in Cup Series history.
Yep. And the thing
yeah,
about it is you look at who finished second, like that's your Daytona 500 winner who went back to back for the 500. Like those 2 camps collectively are hot right
Yep.
now. As we're talking super speedways to a road course, so it wasn't like we were going mile and a half, mile and a half. These groups they are unloading fast race cars in different disciplines to win races.
how old was Christopher Bell?
Mm,
4 minutes ago, inspection is complete. No issues. Bell is the official winner.
yep. I did also see that Austin Cindric will not get a penalty from NASCAR.
For
Right rear hooking the 10.
oh,
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
the old.
yeah, I
Usually it's a
forgot
And
about
one.
that.
Usually it's a 1-2. That was just a 1.
and the funny part was is I was looking at
That's
uh
maybe where Rice is saying we're not in control.
Kanensky's tweet in. He just said, despite Austin Cindric intentionally right hooking Ty Dillon into the wall on the front stretch, Dillon only finished 3 spots behind Cindric today. It was 28th and 25th. And it says at the bottom, Cindric does not receive a penalty from NASCAR.
Well,
So
again,
that would,
I'm gonna say you talk about patience because that was early in the race too.
yep,
Don't necessarily need to be running guys off road either.
correct.
So take it for what you feel like it's worth.
Yep.
That'll be a good mid-season debate here. Colleague camp. I've been scratching my brain at what they're doing for the last year and a half. And uh, actually, no. No, I didn't even think this would be a year that I would stop scratching, but I think I'm scratching harder than I've ever scratched before.
What they do in the
Um,
Xfinity series yesterday?
What's that?
Akis was fifth.
With the torn up car.
Yeah, Akis was fifth. Williams was 15th. Holy Christ, career day for him. Daniel Dye was 17th. Wow. Surprising. But yeah, so that is apparently why Chris Rice has taken to Twitter. Got it.
I, uh, it, I'm dead. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
But no, one point I was gonna make, I asked about Christopher Bell. He's only 30 years old,
So we're gonna have another
and
decade of this.
and he's 30 years old, but he looks 16. But
Looks like a kid. Yep.
I can like, we always talk about like the future of NASCAR, and I don't know why. I guess I look at Seabell and I think 16, but he's 30 years old. Like he is the present. Like
Yep.
this man he's not only here, but he is like he is now like every single year you stare at your final four pick and it's like he's not in it. He's not in your final four. It's like, okay, then he's 5 or 6 missing out on the last race to get in. Like I feel like yeah,
Yep.
I don't know. I guess what I'm getting at is I feel like we're staring down, yeah, as long as he stays in the sport,
For the
this man
record,
can
this
go
is
on.
his for the record, this is his sixth full-time season.
Okay. And he's got what? 3 Final Four appearances?
3 Final Four appearances. Well, no, sorry, two.
2.
He's got two.
He didn't come in. He didn't come in with JGR right away, did he?
No, he was with Levine Family Racing,
Yep. In the 90. Yeah.
95.
Yep.
who was a satellite team of JGR.
Yeah. At the time. Yep.
They were basically waiting for Kenseth to finally,
Hang it up.
wow,
Yeah. 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 About that.
yeah, yeah. Anyways,
So,
any other thoughts, or I guess we got to throw this out here. So this is something that we've been talking about doing every week, in our group chat. We're finally getting around to doing this, and find out a road course to be able to debut this one. Uh, we're gonna try and do like an award a week type of thing, and the award might vary from place to place and what goes on during the week.
yep.
Cam already gave us the dumb move of the week,
Yep.
so I think one that we'll debate here briefly, Wheelman of the week. So obviously, I think we're gonna just focus on the Cup guys this weekend, and just who do we
Yeah.
think was the Wheelman today?
Yeah, I think this, like you said, an award we're gonna kind of try to a race that we're all watching each weekend. We're gonna try not to, burn it down with the Cup series every week. We're gonna try to shift, hopefully, some series and just, talk about or spotlight a driver that we felt like drove a heck of a race. So, um,
I got an early contender for you.
I got the award winner.
You've
If
got
he's
the
If
not
you
the
award
don't take
winner.
if you don't take it,
All right. Well,
he's
go ahead.
not
Kellen, you can go first.
he's not the race winner,
Yep.
but he finished fourth. Talk about a rocky day. Give me Chase Elliott for Wheelman of the Week. Like started third, was junked on lap one and fought all day, just in traffic, kept himself out of trouble. Um, yeah, and looking at the leaderboard at the top here, in the top nine or so, he had the second fastest lap of the top nine. So give me Chase Elliott for Wheelman of the Week.
I think that's going to be my vote as well. But I also want to throw out an honorable mention for Noah Gragson. I don't think
Yep,
anybody really expected him to be a top 10 contender.
P8
Yeah.
was that four machine for Front Row Motorsports.
So I think that's an honorable mention. But I also would tally a vote for the old Clyde Chase Elliott.
Cam?
So yep, we're unanimous across the board. We'll give week one goes to Chase Elliott.
Yep.
But I will throw some honorable mentions out there too. Um, Granted, starting position, whatever, but Chris Borscher, which he went plus 13 on the day.
Probably
But
for
two other guys that I want to just shout out, both top 10 finishes that had some adversity throughout the day as well. Alex Bowman finishing ninth.
Yep.
He looked dead to the right late in the race. And then Todd Gilliland as well. So I'm pretty sure Gillen was caught up in the calamity of lap one. I think it was wasn't it him and Elliott that were stuck together? There was two people that
I don't remember offhand.
I believe
I'm
so.
quite certain it was.
Yeah.
Don't know what's
Well,
awesome
well, you're
about
looking really
X.
quick. We're looking really
Whenever I
quick.
want whenever I want to know anything in life, I just go right to X and I just search it. Like it's almost better than Google. Who am I looking up? Todd Gillen.
I do have one honorable mention, and I think this one comes this is on the dirt side for this one for the week. My dirt award winner for the week is last night, Saturday night, Brian Shirley won in Old Smoky. The car that went up in smoke, that lit on fire at that Hunt the Front race. That was quite the incident. So Old Smoky had paid a little visit to Longhorn, and that thing won last night. So that's kind of cool. See, the car has gained a name and now is winning races. So that was kind of cool. But so,
Gillen ran Chastain off the track on the last corner of the race.
did he?
Yeah, yeah. Ran him off the track last corner.
No.
But no, I think to your point,
Yeah, I think Chase Elliott's kind of the unanimous.
Yep. I have already kept record of him as being the first winner of the Wheelman of the Week award.
Yep.
all right. Let me just watch the replay here quick.
Well, while you're watching that, Kellen, you got any
Yep.
other final thoughts with COTA at all?
No, good race, good product. For a road race, I think I was pretty happy with how it all played out. I'd be confident to take that package back and run that back again, and not have a concern about passing or the whole fuel mileage thing that we've been talking about. So no, I feel good about that package. Is good product, high tempo, high pace. Gotta go now.
Yeah, it was confirmed. It was Todd Gillen that got caught up in that too. So, um, yeah, no, I'll just chime in here too right away and say I'm thoroughly impressed. And again, I think this is the first time that I gotta give NASCAR a little bit more credit. This is not the first time, but this is the first of multiple times that we've sat on this podcast and patted NASCAR on the back.
Yep.
Just an attaboy to NASCAR across the board. Enjoyed the software tire. I really did like the revamp track configuration. Um, and yeah, I thought it was a fun race to watch, to be honest with you. Um,
Yep.
Broadcasting, that's another conversation, but just if there's any new fans out there, just don't focus on broadcasting, just focus on the racing.
Oof.
Final thoughts to me. I'm gonna quickly touch on a couple other races because there was other racing on this week as well. Um, Touching on yesterday, I talked about the Cars Tours at New River All American Speedway. They started up their season. Jade Afrodisian wins the pro late model race after TJ DeCare, if I pronounce that right, disqualification. Hey, that's not surprising. A late model disqualification. Being
Yeah.
light on the left side. So Jade Afrodisian inherits the win there.
We can call that segment "You Got Jonesed."
And then Connor Hall wins the late model stock feature in his debut with Junior Motorsports.
Yeah.
So he wins after dominating that race. There was a little bit of a case of the ARCA brakes in that late model stock race as well. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but
Yep.
If anybody's ever heavy on the scales, we can either go with you got Jonesed or you got Wared for the old Rick Ware Racing lead
oh, I forgot
lead
about that.
Led in
lead
the water bag.
lead in
Yeah,
the water bag. Come
I
on,
forgot
guys.
about that.
They sewed it in there.
You guys, come on.
Uh, IndyCar was also racing today, actually, as we were recording. Um, I got to listen to the race. I did not get to watch the race because I was coming home from the weekend. Um, Very topsy turvy. There were a lot of mistakes on from guys. There was a big crash on lap one that took out Will Power. Um, Mistakes on pit road. It was very kind of a topsy turvy type of race, but all in all, Alex Palou ends up winning it after holding off Joseph Newgarden on a late charge. So you're defending two-time, well, three-time champion, if I worded it correctly. Starts his championship banner year again off with a win at St. Petersburg.
Yep.
So World
Somebody
Outlaws
else.
are currently going as we speak. So that's all we got.
Yeah.
I
So
was
we
gonna
jump.
say, go ahead.
About so Cam, you go first.
No, I was just gonna say too, NASCAR driver or was in the NASCAR ranks for the last few years, making her debut was Haley Deegan this past weekend as well. So
Yep.
um
In the Indy Lights series.
Yep. Yeah. NXTs.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, should we look at some races for coming up weekend?
Yeah, let's do it. There's only a handful of them, but we do
Yeah.
have a few.
First one, Hunt the Front Super Dirt Series kicks off their points racing. So they had some sanctioned races for speed weeks, but those are not points races. So they will be headed to I-75. They will be points racing finally. So they will get their season kicked off. And that will be on the 8th, which would be on Saturday afternoon. Catch that on huntthefront.tv.
The World Outlaws are in action again next weekend as they stay south. First, they're going to be at the Talladega Short Track on Friday night, and then they'll be at Mongolia Motor Speedway on Saturday. I believe Mongolia for sure is a debut for them. Not 100% sure on the Talladega Short Track, but
Yep.
they'll be
For
back in
sure.
action as they get their season wound up as well.
Absolutely.
and let me take this last one. As I mentioned earlier, now we're gonna settle into the real NASCAR schedule. We're gonna get to some mile and a half racing, and we are headed out west, and NASCAR is headed to Phoenix. So ARCA Menards and ARCA West will be running on Friday night. So catch some racing on Friday night. Xfinity will run on Saturday, and then Cup Series running on Sunday afternoon. So, and then we will have an option tire in play for this race as well. So, going to be interesting. Obviously, hosting the championship, and fair amount of drivers last year complaining about the lack of ability to pass at this track. So, going to be interesting to see what goes on. Phoenix is a fairly fairly technical track. And yeah, I'm excited to get to some mile and a half racing here. So got 3 days of NASCAR racing. ARCA Menards and ARCA West on Friday, Xfinity on Saturday, and Cup Series on Sunday.
Throw out a couple of things here real quick since the race is official. We do have updated fantasy points here for you. It actually
you-
nope,
Yep.
they're all tallied.
Yep, it's official.
It's
Yeah,
official.
but
Everything's updated.
do we still get the overnight glitch?
Nope.
I'm announcing it.
Yep.
All right.
All right. You'll be interested in this actually, Cam, because you are tied for first place currently.
I think
I
that's
don't
the
know.
first time we've ever had a tie.
I don't put any stock in it until Monday morning. So
So you guys are tied. You are tied with Jared E for first place. Sophie's Pit Picks is going to fall into third place. Then I am currently in fourth. Gasman's Girls fifth, and Kel, you're in last year, bud.
Yeah,
dude, Callan is praying for that.
If you want to
overnight
make it even
glitch.
worse, I've got updated race picks points as well, and you were last in that as well. And you had Gibbs, who had the worst finish out of us too. So
I am exactly 96 points behind already in fantasy.
So what are you looking at on fantasy?
I'm looking at the
Overall.
overall league standings.
Yeah, it updated already.
Oh, you're not looking at today?
No,
Well, today is count and done too because it updated the overall already.
correct.
Everything's updated because they cleared tech.
Oh, so you were reading off. I thought we were going over this week.
No, no, you're
No,
tied for number one overall, bud.
yeah, it includes today's performance already.
Yeah. So
Now
I don't know
are
if it's
you
today.
now are you
No, I'm not. I'm still not
skittish
putting any
about it?
stock. I'm not putting any stock into it until Monday morning. I'm telling you, there's been so many times where I chirped you guys on Sunday night after a race, and then we record this on a Monday night, and I look and I'm glitched out into third place. So um I'm not celebrating anything until midnight tonight.
Well, based on that, then you can go last since you had the highest finisher in Bowman. Cam and or Kel and myself did not do too hot
No.
as we had Larson and Gibbs, which we'll
Yeah.
leave it at that. So we're picking for Phoenix for this coming Sunday, or way too early race picks for this. Kel, since you finished the worst, you get to go first.
Does the unforeseen happen?
The unforeseen happened.
I so I yeah, I thought about this too. Are we talking about a trifecta?
I mean, are we talking about a trifecta this early in the season? He's the defending race winner of this event, Christopher Bell, a year ago.
You're going for it?
Nope, I'm not. I'm not. You know
Good
who I am
build
going
up.
to take, though? Give me the number 17 of Chris Buescher.
This is
Really?
why he
Like,
finds
Give me four.
himself at the bottom of the standings.
well, you know what? This driver's done really well in Phoenix for the past 2 years. He's had 2 second-place finishes in the past 2 years there. I got to go with him. Give me my man, Ron Blaney.
Oof. Cam, a lot of thinking to do.
Yep.
I mean, you might as well send it. He's hot.
Go for it. You could go with
Outside
the
of
other race winner on the year, and you could get a second two-time winner as well because he ran decent here last year.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm looking at a sample size here of 4 total races, and if I had to guess, we'd have an average finish of probably, I want to
Ooh,
say in the 9 range.
there's only one
Maybe.
other thing that I've got. I had a thought on. Let me see if I can find it here.
Come
I
on.
think, yeah, this
What
is
are we
the
what are we
race.
doing?
All right, give me the 24. Give me William Byron.
All right. I had a thought. Remember what the last race was that we ran the option tire at? 23, Richmond.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yep.
So, all right. So, Colin, you're going with Chris Buescher. I am going with Ryan Blaney. Cam, you are going with William Byron as your race winners.
Yep.
All right. Any final thoughts here, fellas?
Over the last 4 races here, Byron's got an average finish of 6.5. Feeling good about that.
All right.
Okay. Sounds good.
We'll
No.
see what happens on Sunday night.
Yep.
This ain't a super speedway, Kellen. And both of
Yep.
you guys, actually.
I got the guy that finished second a year ago.
And I picked a guy that's finished second here 2 of the last 3 races there.
Come on,
So,
you said it. You said it
I
yourself
mean,
You said it yourself last week. Penske takes off until the Coke 600.
you're
So
not wrong. I did say that. You're not wrong. I did say that.
It's correct.
But I'm gonna take my picks when I can.
Yep. All right.
no final thoughts for me. Again, I thoroughly enjoyed this option tire and race at COTA. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Phoenix is always a unique and interesting track. So looking forward to fanning out at Phoenix.
Yep.
Obviously, this is the precursor to the championship race too.
For sure.
So, well, with that, make sure you comment, like, subscribe. Check us out on YouTube, the X Machine, Instagram, wherever.
Facebook.
Yep, we are on Facebook now. Three Stones
I
Pit
know.
Crew if you're looking for us.
Yep. Yep.
Wherever you get your social media intake. But also make sure I always say this: go to your local short track. Their seasons are going to be starting up here pretty soon. Plan a couple weekends with the family out at the racetrack. Keep our short tracks alive because that's what keeps the heartbeat of racing going. Support
Yep.
your local grassroots. So again, comment, like, subscribe. Let us know of any thoughts that you guys have. And until then, we'll see you next week on the Tuesday Track Talk.